Amanda here from Create Your Future, guys. So I have an exciting video on how to manifest anything you want. We're going to talk about how to manifest anything you want. So you can apply this to anything you're looking to manifest, okay, whether it be an SP or that sort of thing, okay? So just before we dive into it, guys, if you're new here, my name is Amanda. I'm a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, hypnotherapist, EFT, tapping practitioner, as well as a certified life coach. And guys, most of the coaches on the team have some sort of training in one of those areas, as well as there's got psychology backgrounds, counseling, and any of them that don't have been trained in my coaching program. Okay, so my coaching program that we do here is going to help you to be able to find your blocks, give you the tools you need to overcome them, and help you create an action plan so you can get to your manifestation quicker. So it's like, it's like going to swimming lessons. You're going to learn how to swim a lot faster with a coach than you are just hopping in the pool on your own. Now, you can hop in the pool on your own and do it. And you know what? I self-taught myself to swim. But my friends went in swimming lessons and they learned how to swim a lot faster than I did, okay? And some of my techniques were sloppy, and I could have cut a lot of corners had I had some, professional help. So keep that in mind. Link in the description. A lot of our coaches are having sales and whatnot. I've actually got my course, Create the Relationship You Love. It's what I use to manifest moving in with Andrew, as well as my proposal and marriage. Okay. And I've had lots of clients use it, and they've manifested committed relationships, marriage, proposals. So it's going to be a self-guided course to help you manifest what you want in your life, like to recreate anybody, as well as I do have affirmation tracks, and they're all really good affirmations to help you to get to your goal sooner. So there's get rid of the third party, manifest your ex back, right? And to manifest money. So they're all on sale right now as well, my course and the affirmation tracks. So the manifest, your ex, and the affirmations to get rid of the third party go really well with the course as well. Like, they work together. And guys, comment below if there's any affirmation tracks or courses that you would like to see from me. And guys, we do have a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. It's absolutely free. People get so much success from it. I was just talking to a client the other day, and they were saying how that course helped them to discover some of their blocks. Okay. And guys, it's not just as easy as saying, look at, if I say I don't have any blocks, I don't have any blocks. Well, yes, that's true. Don't assume that you have blocks, but a block is a contrary thought, a contrary belief, an assumption, okay? So if you're assuming that Jerry's got baggage and doesn't want to be in a relationship, then that's a block if you want to be in a relationship with him. Simply saying I have no blocks or resistance isn't going to clear that assumption. You need to change that assumption, okay? So, I'm not saying, people have blocks just to sell something here or to give away a free course. This is honestly how you create. I really think that people saying, look at, if you say you don't have any blocks, you don't have any blocks, is a really dangerous piece of advice, because they're not understanding how the subconscious mind works. Your subconscious mind holds on to all your beliefs and your assumptions that you've installed in there. And basically saying, I have zero blocks and resistance doesn't clear all those out. You need to actually acknowledge and identify it and change it to reprogram your subconscious mind, okay? For anybody out there that believes you can just say, I have no blocks and resistance, my question for you is, why don't you have everything you want right now? Okay, you have to go in and dig out. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, of how you can go in there and figure out what your stories are, what your beliefs are, and how you can change them, because this is so incredibly important. This is the inner work that we need to do, okay? So again, don't assume you have blocks and resistance, okay? Just know how to identify them when they come up, and a block is so easily clearable. Right now I say Jerry's got baggage and doesn't want a relationship. That's a block. As soon as I turn around and say, no, he's over that and he wants a relationship, block on. That's simple, okay? So the other thing we have here is a Facebook group full of success stories. Create Your Future with Amanda, Law of Attraction hacks. I think it's great. Read the success stories, because when you're reading it, you're actually creating it for yourself as well. And it's so nice to go in there and just read all these positive stories. It just makes me feel so good that, first of all, that Create Your Future has made such a difference in people's lives, because that is our mission. Like, I started doing this just, to help people change their lives. And trust me, you know what? It isn't all fun and games being in the public eye, because you've got people that like you and you've got people that hate you. You've got to have a thick skin when you're putting yourself out to the public, right? I mean, I cannot tell you the countless amount of, comments about my looks from haters. And it's like, really, you don't think I have a mirror? But oh well, I think I'm amazing no matter what people think I look like, right? I mean, anyway, but and it's all worth it when you see the change that I make in people's lives when I see that. So guys, please keep sending in your success stories. You can even post in the group anonymously because it's a private group. So I think that's really amazing as well. And guys, if you guys want me to answer any of your questions, post them under my video. They'll get sent to me as a video idea. Sometimes I actually do answer them when I'm looking through the comments. In addition, I do YouTube lives and TikTok lives. If you subscribe and turn on the notification, all notifications, you'll be notified when I do a live, and then you can hop on and I answer all of your guys' questions during the lives. I'm sorry, I don't have a set day and time that I do them. It's sort of sporadic, but I mean, if you're subscribed, you'll know about it. I try to make it at a good time for everybody. So like not like 9 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, which would be sort of, an awkward time for people. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's dive into this. How to manifest anything you want. Okay. So, I mean, the first thing that you want to do is you want to dig up your story about it. Okay. You really want to dig up what your current story is. Okay. And if you don't know what your story is, your 3D reality is going to tell you. Okay. So, you're going to have to look in 3 areas. Let's say if it's for relationships. Okay. If it's for relationships, what's your story about yourself, your self-concept in regards to relationships? So an example, my self-concept in relationships is I'm an amazing girlfriend and an amazing wife. And I've always been. Okay. And in my particular situation, I had a story about my specific person that they were previously married and they didn't want to get married again. Okay. So that was an assumption that I created back in my early 20s when I was like, I didn't even mean it when I said it. I just said it. Okay. It was just something I said. And then it stuck, obviously. My subconscious mind accepted it and made it so. And so that's how, so it was funny because for me, I had no problem in any relationship, okay, all throughout my 20s and 30s. I had lots of long-term relationships and, and I've always been the one that dumps people. I've never been rejected or turned down or dumped or anything until I started dating men that had previously been married, because now I'm older, right? So now the likelihood of men coming along that have previously been married started showing up. And so one of them, I struggled for a while and I just gave up with him because there were some other things, I wanted to change about him. I didn't like his career. I wanted him to be more professional, and so I was like, I'm just going to start over. And then I started over and I manifested Andrew. He was everything on my list, but he, he was previously married. So he didn't want to get married again because he had already gone down that road and it didn't work out. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then I shifted my story using the techniques in my course, right? I shifted my story. And, within 5 days, he wanted to move in with me. He's changed his mind from 5 days earlier. And I've done many videos on this, you guys, like saying, I don't want to be with you, to, I don't want to, be serious. I like what we're doing, to basically, what, we're doing it, ready to move in with me. Right. So, you want to, dig up what your story is, your assumptions, your beliefs. Okay. So what has the other person said to you? Okay. So whoever, you're looking to get into a relationship with, right? What have they said to you, right? What's reflecting back to you? Okay. Take a look at that, because they're going to hold the key that you've put the assumption on them. Now, it may have been like in my case where I didn't make a specific assumption about Andrew. I had an assumption about men that were previously married, and he fell into that category. So my subconscious mind had to make it so. Okay. So, you may be digging through, it may not be where, you find it. Like I didn't find it in myself. He had to say it. And then I recognized it and went, oh, no, we need to change that. Okay. He's not allowed to have baggage. And it wasn't until after he said it that my girlfriend called me, because I was like, when did I create that? My girlfriend called me and reminded me of it, which was really weird, out of the blue 20 years later. Like, oh, remember that night we were sitting around and you said that? I was like, oh my God, yeah. I'm like, how odd that you would call me up just to say this, right? So anyway, really, obviously everything in your reality, in your quantum bubble, you manifest, right? So, so you want to go in and dig out what your beliefs and your assumptions are, okay? So like, for instance, a really good way to do it is to write out all the reasons why you don't have what you have right now. You know, they said they weren't ready for a relationship. They said they see me more as a sister or a brother. You know, go through all of that, okay? And once you've dumped all that negative out, okay, keep going until you start to repeat yourself. And then you know you've gotten all your negative thoughts out, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to cross them out and you're going to write a positive, change it to what, you know, is in line with what you want, okay? So if you want to be in a relationship and they say, look, you know what? They see me as, you know, a brother. No, they see me as husband material and they're attracted to me. Okay, that's the new. So you do that with all of these, okay? They're not ready for a relationship. No, they're over their baggage and ready for a relationship. And then you start reading this new list, okay? 3-4 times a day for about a week. Really get it saturated into you, okay? Because you're changing a story here, okay? You can't just go say it once and forget it. No, these assumptions are there. You need to start convincing yourself otherwise, okay? And when you do this, yes, you're going to feel probably some static in your head. It might be difficult, but you're going to do it. And when you do it, okay, you're going to stay on your mental diet throughout the day and see what shows up, okay? So if you're doing these new intentions, but they're still like, no, you know what, I'm just not ready for a relationship. Okay, no problem. You know what? No, at that moment you say, no, I intend they're ready for a relationship, and you move on. So you acknowledge what shows up and you change it to what you want, okay? And this is a mental diet, okay? You don't question why they don't want to be with you. You don't do any of that stuff, okay? You want to stick on your mental diet, okay? So you need to have faith in yourself as a creator. And how do you do that? You create a little list of manifestations, okay? Things, and you guys have heard me say this a million times, things that are, you know, not so, weird or big. So someone bringing you vegetables, okay? Somebody buying you coffee, somebody wearing a certain color sweater at work, seeing I was intending to see a purple car and we actually saw a purple car. Purple's not common. So things that are just like not common, but not really difficult, because this only needs to be odd enough that you go, oh my goodness, that's my manifestation, okay? You don't want to set yourself up for failure, because this is just showing you, that you are a creator and building your confidence, okay? Not making this like, oh, you know what, I want to see a UFO, and then that never happens, and then you're like, see, this doesn't work. No, we're not going down that path, okay? We're going down this, okay, we're creating these things that is going to make us believe, and show us how we create and build our belief in ourselves with creating, because, even questioning if your thoughts create is going to be a block, okay? Because if you're turning around and saying, no, my thoughts don't create, and then you're going, well, I intend that he wants me. Well, you're blocking it, okay? Your subconscious mind is going to have to show you that your thoughts don't create. So you're not going to see a correlation between your affirmations and what's showing up in your reality, because your subconscious mind says, well, you're giving me the command that your thoughts don't create. So every thought that you have, everything that you speak to your friends, your family, everywhere, even on me on these videos, okay? I am talking to my subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is overhearing you and listening to you and saying, okay, your wish is my command. And then, sometimes you may have a thought, okay, so do your thoughts do create, but do all your thoughts create? Well, I mean, yes and no. Yes, there's a potential for them to create. No, they don't always create, because sometimes they may be contrary to a belief or assumption that you've already got installed, okay? So for instance, okay, this is where your partial manifestations come from, or your birds before land, okay? So let's say I'm intending that, Andrew wants to move in with me and that he wants to be in a serious relationship, but then I've got the assumption that all married men, basically have baggage and don't want to get married again. And that's why I was actually seeing other guys that I knew and that I was dating in the past actually showing up and saying, hey, you know what? I want to move in with you and be in a committed relationship. Yeah, but you're not, Andrew. Why are you doing it? Well, easy, because my subconscious mind was like, well, you know what? You're asking, for a committed relationship and to move in with, Andrew, but I can't give you Andrew because you have an assumption that he has baggage and doesn't want to be in a committed relationship again. So I'm going to send it to you this way. Okay. Thoughts are things, and they got to show up in your reality one way or another, but not all of them are gonna, because they may be blocked by an assumption or a belief that you already have in play. So that's why you got to dig all this story up. That's why you got to dig all these assumptions up. If you want to manifest money, you're going to have to sit down. What are all your beliefs about money? Okay. That's when I finally had a big breakthrough on manifesting money, was when I got out my whole story. What was installed in me from other people throughout my childhood? What did my parents say about money? How did I grow up? I grew up very broke. We grew up very broke. dirt poor. I played with pine cones and mud, guys. Like, seriously, I got hand-me-down clothes. Like, we've had some pretty rough times, and I had to shift that by going through all these beliefs and going, okay, well, is this true? Do I want to believe this? Can I change this? And, once I dig through all those, and the same thing with like health stories as well, throughout my life, there's been stories about my health. And finally, at this point, I've dug through it all and I am healthy, like, thank God. But, with these health and money, sometimes you've got to go through all those previous beliefs. And same with relationships. If you've had a series of broken down relationships, you may need to, do a little bit more work. But honestly, nothing needs to take a long time to manifest. As soon as you acknowledge what your story is or your assumption, and you ask yourself, is that assumption or belief working towards me getting what I want or against me? If the answer is against you, that's a block. You just change it. You're like, okay, thank you for coming up. I don't want you anymore. I want this instead. And now you just move on there. And then you drop it and you move on. Okay. So that is how you can manifest anything. Okay. Is you got to find out what your, what your beliefs and assumptions are. A really good technique to follow all this up with, okay, is when you've got your mental diet and you're clear on what you want, go to an end scene. Okay. So like, for instance, if you're manifesting, your SP moving in with you, go to your end scene, So walk around your house and say, yeah, my SP is going to be like living here. We're going to be cooking dinner together. We're going to watch TV together. Like, spend some time thinking about it. Like, for instance, when I manifested my house, when I walked through this house, I walked up the stairs and I said, I'm going to walk up here every night. And I'm going to, I was in the bedroom and this place was staged. So there was furniture. I laid on the bed. My realtor's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is where I'm going to wake up every single morning, but on my own bed. Right. And she was like straightening the bed after I laid on it. Right. And I went into the bathroom and I turned on the sink and she's like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to wash my face here every night, And then I was walking down the stairs and I'm like, I'm going to walk down the stairs every morning and smell Andrew's coffee, and that's exactly what played out, and I did manifest the place and they did tell me, oh no, you can't have it. And so, I did come across some resistance and roadblocks and I was like, what do you mean I can't have it? Everything's for sale. They're going to sell it at some point and they're going to sell it to me. And I persisted in that. And sure enough, you know what? It did get sold to me. So, you've got to keep in your story, regardless of what your 3D says, right? You've got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your powers and you got to stay the course, right? You got to be persistent. But, honestly, if you're persisting for 2-3 years without any movement, something's blocking you. You're missing part of your story. I've done a video on it. And you can comment below. I'll put you the link on what to do if your manifestation is taking forever. Or, sign up for coaching with one of my coaches. And if you ever do coaching with any of my coaches on the team, if your experience isn't good, let me know. If it is good, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback, right? Because we're here to help you and to support you. So yeah, you just need to let us know what you need. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Yes. Let me know if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.